Hello, everyone. This is Christian, and you're watching my channel, Uncle Frostyji. I have a really big treat for everyone today. I am meeting with the proprietor, VJ Abraham, of the Airbnb experience. Let me get this right. Old Hindi song karaoke in old age homes. Abraham, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a bright evening over here, whereas I think it's a bright evening for you on the other side of the globe. But
Yep, it's a beautiful day out here in Southern California. But before we start, I just wanted to see how are you and your family doing with everything that's going on in Mumbai right now with the lockdown.
we are fine. My mother especially is fine. She's 84, and by God's grace, she's fine. So I'm happy, and
Oh,
my
good,
family is of course all fine.
good. Well, it's always a treat to spend some time with you and see how you're doing. Just to let everybody, in your own words, explain. Um, you know, I think we've talked about this in the past, but I'd like to hear it again, just from your perspective and the way you tell the story. How did this come to pass? What is your passion? What was the reason that you started this journey?
My background is as a child. I mean, I had an older sister who's no longer alive, but we grew up together with our parents, and she was very fond of hearing the old Bollywood songs on radio. Those days it was the radio, the television had not come up. And I remember she was, when we used to come from school at the same time, she used to be very, uh, the first step, even before she changes her uniform to her civil dress, she used to switch on the radio. Those days it was the valve radio. And by the time the valve used to get hot, she would have changed her dress. And, that I was explaining that she was that crazy for old Hindi songs. So I have grown up hearing these old Hindi songs from my childhood days. And it was unknowingly, it was there within me, which I never realized it. Later on, of course, with studies, and I had completed my engineering, and then it was my work after my studies, and I didn't have time to think about it. So I was back to work, but I remember there were one or two incidents when I was in the office and I was asked to sing songs, and then I did sing, and I still didn't think of that as a passion. About 10 years ago, I sort of retired from an active career, and I decided that, okay, I'll do something on my own. And I am now sort of self employed. I do have uh, uh, my own business. But that's when I um, said, okay, let me now enjoy my passion. What am I supposed to do? Because you have a lot of time. And that's when on Meetup, I formed a group. I subscribed to it. And then I started collecting people who had a common passion of singing. And then we created a small group. We brought them up on WhatsApp. We joined the group. And then it's all started off a little more than a year ago, wherein it was one week in one of the friend's house singing karaoke songs, the old Hindi songs in karaoke forms. The karaoke forms are available on YouTube, and we used to pick it up from there. And the week after that, it used to be in my house, and that's how it was going. And after some time, it became a little bit routine. I mean, okay, we knew each other's voices. We enjoyed singing, but okay, to hear somebody else singing was naturally getting a little too boring. And I was just wondering what to do. And around the same time, uh, I have my mother who's 84. She has dementia, and she's staying with me with my small family, my wife, my daughter. And I always consider it, even right now, by the grace of God, though she has dementia, she's forgetting a lot of things, and she's now more like a child. But physically, she's healthy. She's able to move around, even though we have somebody to take care of her. And that is a blessing. And I really pray that this blessing continues till her end. And that if that happens, then I would really be uh, uh, happy that that blessing is given to me. So keeping that in mind, and the fact that, okay, she's there with me, it's my pleasure to meet her every day, and her pleasure that she meets me. I said there are a lot of now we've suddenly learned there's a lot of trend of old age homes. The elders have to stay in old age homes, not because of any negative reason, but even positive reasons, and they are staying away, and of course they are lonely. So I said, let me, since I'm blessed to have my mother with me, let me go and meet them. And that was the same time I was thinking about, where will I sing my songs, and people will get too bored of my songs. And I realized that okay, these are the people who are in say above 70 or 80 years of age, and they remember songs of old Bollywood. Typically, we call them golden era songs,
Hmm.
which are typically from 1940s until I would say 1980 and maximum 85, where we had, very singers from very olden days, like uh, S.G. Burman and Saigal and all. But of course, I do not sing so many old songs. But the popular golden era people were from our singers like Lata Mangeshkar, Muhammad Rafi, Kishore Kumar, uh, Talat Mahmood. And the songs that they sang were very melodious. And, you just enjoy them. And as I said, I used to hear these songs from my childhood. So the music was probably always there in the back of my mind. It was just that the lyrics, I was not very, it's not, I was not, it was not very, uh, it was not in my mind or not in my memory for long. But then with karaoke available easily on the net, we could read the wordings and the meanings and understand them and enjoy singing it. So that's when I realized that okay, I have an audience in these old people, and I remember more than say 9 months ago, way back in May, I started writing to old age homes, starting from Mumbai itself. And one of the first responses I got is from a private old age home by the name of BHN Healthcare, and they were very supportive. And they said, "Okay, we are keen to start." And I said, "It is. Uh, we are doing it. I'm doing it voluntarily because I'm enjoying doing it." And they said, "Welcome." And then I carried my karaoke equipment. I started singing, and till date, I do sing over there, except for the last 1 month when we are all locked down in this Corona COVID-19. And I hope to start again after things settle down and things get normal. I hope that. So to summarize it, basically, I started singing. I started getting a ready audience, keeping in mind that uh, it's a blessing for me to have my mother. And I thought this is some act of karma, wherein okay, I am getting the blessing of mother. Let me go and give a little happiness to those people who long to have their children with them for whatever reasons they cannot uh, be having their children or they're lonely. So let me go and spend some time with them. And the end result is they really, many of them, I wouldn't say all of course, but many of them do enjoy the song. If I don't come there for a long time, they send messages, where is this guy gone? And that kept me inspiring, and uh, I intend continue going again, because they are the people who want me to sing, and it is for them that I enjoy, and I intend to continue going and singing over there again.
Nice. Now, when you told your karaoke group, because I know you have your friends go with you now, when you suggested having your friends come with you to sing at the old age home, how did they receive that idea about going and singing?
The idea was conceived in my mind. Not everybody understood what is the purpose, and not everybody has the same reason. As I said, my mind was very clear: is that um, I have the blessing of my mother with me, and I said not everybody has it. So they necessarily didn't understand, and they said they didn't take it very positively. So many of them didn't take it positively. And I remember my first uh, session in the old age home was just me alone. If I remember very well, I went and did a survey. They did say, okay, it's a good idea, we'll start. But I remember the first session was me alone. But then eventually, okay, since I was having my group, a few people came. They did say, yeah, it was good, but I was not very sure whether it was just lip service or. And eventually, again, I started having problems. Like when it was becoming a regular thing, then saying that, okay, uh, it's not very enjoyable to go regularly there. We could be having different other activities. I said, see, I don't mind you have other activities and other sessions, but I'm getting committed to this. So I'll be doing it. And those who wish to come are welcome, but I would be doing it. So initially, the response was not very sure, but now many people understand and appreciate what is the cause of it. And of course, I have now one or two committed people who are very clear that yes, whenever I go, I they would like to be a part of my group. As it is, of course, I take the effort because it's not that you can just walk into an elderly home and start singing. You need to, uh, do a cold calling. You research them on the internet, send them messages, and eventually, I mean, talking of statistics, you send messages to 100 old age homes, and probably just one may materialize. So, keeping
Mhm.
that in mind, you have a lot of hard work to do, and uh, various people have their own reasons. But now I'm doing it. They know I'm taking the effort and doing it, and a few people are committed. So this is I can see my fruits of my labor coming. Initially, though it was very disappointing, but now it's happening.
Right. Well, the purpose also of this interview is to let other people know what you're doing because you're really an amazing guy, and to provide this, I think, which is a great service. Is a fun. It's a fun way for people to connect as well as giving back to the community, which I think is really really special. But can you share with us some experiences, maybe some flops that you went in there and you sang, and people are like, "Get out of here! We don't." I mean, is there some some stories you can share with us about some of your successes, maybe where things went really well, and maybe some times where it didn't? I mean, I've only gone once, so I'm not sure what a hostile old age environment might be if you walk in there and you start singing versus some funny stories you can share.
Yeah, I mean, of course, as I said, there are many people who enjoy hearing old Hindi songs. And my experience after now having gone to various old age homes, whether it's private or charitable, I've realized one thing. I do not know whether it's coincidence, but there is a community in India known as the Sindhi community. They originally hailed from Pakistan before the partition, and from a place known as Sindh. And of course, since they were Hindus, and during the partition they came to India, so that's a Sindhi community, and they are a lot into Bollywood, and um, you know that's their. So I realized one thing is that almost all the places, almost all, if there is a Sindhi, whether the person is not bedridden or bedridden, uh, that person is very much interested and fully supports my agenda for hearing. I mean, my idea of singing old Hindi songs.
Mhm.
So I definitely get a sure audience, and this was it's coincidence, but I've slowly realized that it is majority are the Sindhis. Of course, the Punjabis also are very keen on hearing, but of course there are other community people also who do hear them. But I wanted to say something about this. Saying that, of course, mm, there are a lot of people also who do not enjoy it. I mean, they say, okay, it's too boring or what it is. So I do have examples of rejections. It may not be from their heart, but it is, they don't like it. And of course, now they are into dementia, so they have their own personal behavior. I know in one of the elder home I go over there, there is a man who has, he's typically a very, I don't know what is the clinical word for his personality, but he's very rough in his behavior and talk. He has problems with everybody in the old age home, and you cannot even greet him and say him, tell him good morning, because he'll be suspicious of why you are even greeting him, and he will, like, look at it as though he's doing you a favor of hearing you. So whenever I walk to that place and I start singing, this man walks out of the room and he spends his time outside. So,
I
well, I
guess he
don't
doesn't
speak
like
any
your
of,
singing.
just doesn't like it. And then I tried my best to talk to him. I said, okay, what is it? Can you? He's like absolutely rough with me. He says, listen, I'm not messing with you. You do your work and don't tell me what am I supposed to do. So I don't want to discuss anything with you. So, so you have such people, and I don't hold it against them because it's age related, and of course, when you are age related diseases which affect your brain, you cannot think in a very rational way. And you have a few people. I mean, I could say a lot of examples. There's another lady also in the same old age home who also, she's not rough in her talk, but she will just walk out of the place when you come, and or she'll tell you that, okay, please reduce the volume. I don't want to hear. She is quite forceful on those. So you have a few people, and of course, uh, there are various other examples. I remember the same place which you had been. If you remember, in some of the pictures also you took, there's an old lady who's probably more than 85. No, probably 85, or yeah, definitely more than 85 years. And she's a very soft lady, but she'll talk. She doesn't have a teeth, so she talks something like because there's no teeth inside. And but a very loving lady. She'll enjoy singing. If I make her dance, she will hold my hands and we'll dance. Many times she laughs. She's very she can express her emotions a lot. So she's one lady in that place who has been an inspiration.
Let's talk a bit about when we met for the first time. I was actually staying in Bandra, which is kind of it's considered kind of the middle section of Mumbai, maybe north just a
Suburbs,
tad, suburbs.
suburbs. Yeah,
And I had some time on my hands, so I believe I received an email from Airbnb suggesting, hey, you're staying in Mumbai. Here are something called Airbnb experiences, which were local experiences that you'd pay a small fee, and then you could either say some of them were walking tours in the various areas that I was near. Maybe there was a street food tour, something like that. Um, just little things so you could kind of get to know the area that you were staying in a little bit better. So one of the things that popped up was this carry. I just in my mind I thought it just said sing karaoke to old folks. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. Now, me growing up as a kid during the holidays, we used to do some charitable activities where a lot of young kids, including myself, would go to convalescent homes, old age homes, and we'd sing them Christmas carols. Go to room and say Merry Christmas and wish them the best. And so I was used to that type of activity. So that was familiar with me. So I'm not sure if that was the catalyst that kind of got me to accept your invitation, so to speak. I think doing something out of my comfort zone was appealing in a safe area because I knew in my mind, I'm like, they're older people. They're probably not going to judge me. Hopefully, they're better singers than I am. And especially if I'm singing words that I don't understand, this could be a fun activity, something very different. So we ended up signing up. I contacted you. We sent some text back and forth, and I had expressed some of my concerns and apprehensions about doing this. And you calmed my fears. You sent me some lyrics and a couple videos. But the reality is that there wasn't that much time really involved. I mean, it was probably 24 hours, I would say. You sent me an address. We met at a location. I took an auto rickshaw, I believe, or Uber to our location, which was, I think it was in Santa Cruz West or Santa Cruz East area, possibly. Maybe
No, Santa Cruz West. It was
Villa
more of
Parle,
Ville
maybe?
Parle West, actually.
Villa
Ville
Parle,
Parle
Villa
West.
Parle. And so I got out and I was like, the first thing is that I was looking for like a hospital type of, and it looked like a residential area, which it actually was, because I didn't realize, some of these convalescent homes where they're set up. So I sat up, and then shortly after you showed up, and we got to meet and got to chat a little bit. And then some of your other compadres showed up and got to meet them before going inside. So I think it was a nice prep to let me know kind of the setup and what goes on. So we met and we went upstairs to the area and introduced me to some of the people that work there, some of the staff, and then some of the other individuals were actually already kind of set up in that common area that you were going to be singing in. And then what was really interesting is that as we started, more people started showing up. And these were other people, friends of yours or people that had heard about what you did and be involved in it. So by that time, I think you started, there was probably another six, maybe seven additional people that were there in addition to the residents that were there. So it was a full house. So as things got going on, for me, it was fun to just kind of sit back and watch everybody and kind of see, the response. And I know that everyone kind of started coaxing me to come out, and I really wasn't quite ready. But the reality is that I felt comfortable. I just had to get up there and, say, throw caution to the wind and go up there and look like a fool. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. It was great to be able to meet and get to know some of the other people that sang with you, as well as sing these fun songs. There were a couple songs that I liked. What was really funny is that I don't know if you remember the one song, that they were asking me, "Hey, what song do you want to sing?" And I said, "Or Isadil."
कुछ कुछ होता है,
That
कभी
one
कुछ
too,
कुछ
but
होता
it was the Sanjay Dutt movie, Or
और इस
Isadil.
दिल में
Right.
और
So
इस
that was a
दिल
song, that I liked the melody of it. Well, it was funny because I was just a couple weeks ago, I was telling somebody, "Hey, I really like the song." And he's like, "Are you kidding me? You sang that song?" And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "That's like the most depressing song, totally lonely." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I actually was singing this probably inappropriate song." And they were laughing hysterically that here it was, a song that I liked. I was thinking it was all, very, a lot of great melody. Was this song about this guy who he's terrible. He's so sad because he can't be with this girl and his life's miserable. And I was like, oh man, what did I do? So that was a funny experience I wanted to share with you that I had just a couple weeks ago. But then then we threw out a couple songs that were more of the bigger hits in the early '90s, the Kuch Kuch Hota Hai songs and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. And I think um, what was also what made it a wonderful experience was even afterwards. So there was a lot of people that couldn't come out to the room to actually listen to it, and maybe they opened their doors, I think is what you said, so they could hear it even though they might not be able to get out. So we had the chance to go into each of the rooms and sit down next to the people and talk to them. Now, some people spoke English. I believe there was I think it was a World War II veteran, I believe, that we talked to. He was an older gentleman, maybe not World War II, but an
yes yes yes
older
he's still
gentleman.
over there. Yeah.
And then there was a couple other women that didn't speak English at all, but
Yes.
I had the opportunity just to sit down and I kind of held their hand and looked at them, and I just kind of, the few Hindi words, I introduced myself, where I was from, and they just had a huge smile on their face. And I think you brought in a
Incidentally, that
translate.
sorry to interrupt you. Incidentally, that lady whom you're just referring to is no longer living now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's really,
Passed
she
away
was so
soon
sweet.
after.
That's so sad. Well, it
Yeah.
was, I could tell that she was just a very sweet person. You sit there and talk to her, and she just had a big smile on her
Yes.
face. And I think, there's some way of connecting, even though you don't maybe speak the language, that, you look at somebody, they're looking at you, and, you can just sense kindness. For me, the whole experience, I went in there doing it for me,
Mhm.
and when I left, I realized I was doing it for them. And that's where the joy and the satisfaction came, from knowing, hey, here I am halfway around the world, and literally halfway around the world from California. And, meeting somebody like you with this passion and something that you're trying to do to improve your community, and being a part of it made it a memorable thing. And I'll always remember it. And it was such a great, great opportunity. What was your perception of that when we met? And
I have to say something before talking about you. I have to say something about this experience when Airbnb started this experience in India. They started in Delhi and then Goa, and when they started in Bombay, in Mumbai city, we call them now. I had already listed my, and it was approved by Airbnb much before it was published. And finally, when the day Airbnb started uh, their Airbnb experiences in Mumbai, mine was the first and the only experience published. Then, of course, with days it started coming, many other experiences started coming. And at that time, I had listed it as sing old Hindi songs in my house at this place, which you can see over here. I had a small sort of a studio apartment, and I had a small music instrument as it come, and I put a small amount for that. And would you believe it? I think for more than 6 months, I didn't have a single guest who booked that experience of mine. And I was, well, I thought, okay, it's a very niche thing. I mean, Airbnb is all over the world, but asking somebody, are you interested in old Hindi songs, you're already narrowing it down. And then old Hindi songs, again, you still narrow it, not the young generation. So I said, it's okay, I will uh, be happy with whatever I get. And believe me, I didn't have that. And that's when, as I said, I started this activity in the old age home, and I modified my experience to sing old Hindi songs in old age homes. And as you said, we met in August. So you were actually the first guest, and I'd actually increased my rate, and you booked it. And of course, um, uh, with your experience and your reviews on my thing, on my Airbnb listing, I had a lot of people coming after that. And so this is one thing I will never forget. The second thing which struck me when I met you, I mean, I just thought, okay, this is a guy who's coming from the US, and I don't know. I mean, I couldn't think about what could be your intention for coming till I meet a person.
This
And
weird white guy showing up here, and
yeah, so I was just, yeah, I just thought somebody wants to spend some time over here in Bombay, so he just thought of some activity. And then when I understand your background, that you were working with the movie industry there in Hollywood, and you have been trying to associate yourself with a lot of people. I mean, I can see your YouTube channels, and there are a lot of videos of your association with a lot of people from the Indian movie industry. That's when I realized that, okay, this man has something in his mind which was getting clearer and clearer. And the most surprise package of that is that I just thought is that, okay, what would he know about anything about Hindi songs? But I realized there are a lot of things you knew more about me. The songs you sang also was a surprise, not just to me, even for my Indian guests who were over there. They couldn't believe that a man from the US who speaks with an American accent is able to sing Hindi songs.
hey, all
And I
right.
think, yeah, and I think that um, got everybody, including the residents, the elders, my friends who were there, they all got very comfortable with you. Though, as I said, after you, I had many guests, and they were all very enterprising people. But I still feel that uh, my getting all the other guests were a result of your first interaction with me and your experience and your positive review, which uh, gave the other people, many of them foreigners, many Indians, hey, this is something interesting. There's some man by name Christian who's talking something about this man VG, and we just have to see what is he doing.
Thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it. But the reality is, this is your idea, right? And I think it's great. You know, you're doing a great service.
My motivation is my mother is still alive, as I explained the story earlier. As I said, she's 84. Uh, uh, we don't know when is her end, but I intend now that even if she's not there with me, I have probably now learned to understand that there are a lot of people who are lonely, who are retired from an active life, and they have nothing forward to look to because they. When I talk to the dementia patients, they lament about, oh, during my heydays, I was doing so very well. I had a lot of power and a lot of control, and they sort of are into that regretful mood, saying that why has this happened? Why it's very lonely, and I do feel for them. And somewhere in the corner of my mind, I know that probably I can also. Today I've just crossed 50, but I could also probably be in a similar situation. So let me learn something about life, how they're living, and so that I can be mentally prepared that if I come in a similar situation, how to take care of my life. So these are a few reasons which allows me, and I'm enjoying. And even if it's one person who has the patience to sit along and hear me and likes to hear me every time I sing, I think that is one of the biggest rewards that I'm having, and that is keeping me motivated for the spirit to continue as long as I can, as long as I have the health to do this. Many of the old age, the elders' home, uh, there are quite a few people who uh, want me to come there, and when I get the words from them, which is a sort of a blessing, saying that they're so happy, I think that gives me a great joy because I know by these words, this is actually their blessings that is showering upon me, and which is resulting in my family being happy, my mother being healthy, my mother being happy.
How can people reach you if they are interested in doing this? I know the lockdown's happening right now, but at some time it will open back up. There'll be people being able to visit these places. How do you want people to? How can people contact you?
I mean, you search me on Airbnb or through my channel, that is VG Abraham, VG Abraham. I am there. You'll see me. I'm welcome to connect with me, and I would be looking forward to more opportunities.
I think there's probably even a way of actually starting chapters of this, throughout the country, so you don't have to be there, but they're definitely associated with your goal, kind of like the laughing yoga. How they have
Yes,
these groups that are forming around the country and around the world with the purpose and the mission of singing and uplifting, the elderly. Well, I know that you can also be reached on Facebook through
yes,
Messenger and some other places. You have a YouTube channel, and then your Airbnb. So I'll go ahead and in the show notes down below, I'll include all that information so we can get people to contact you directly. So hopefully you'll have individuals that want to take part in what you're doing when everything hopefully improves in the future. So how's that? Does
yes.
that sound like a plan? Thank you so much, Abraham. All the best. And for those of you who are traveling to Mumbai or either within India or outside, please look up Abraham and take part in what he's doing. It's great. If you're feeling down, you want to feel uplifted, go do what he's doing. If you just have time on your hands and you're looking for something fun to do, get in touch with Abraham. He's a great guy, and I'm so glad that we met and that you're a friend, and I look forward to great things in the future, sir. So with that, Fir Milenge.
Thank you very much. Fir milenge, Christian. It was nice to get to know you, and I look forward to continued relationships with you and your family too. Thank you very much,
All right.
Christian.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Take care.
बार बार देखो हजार बार देखो कि देखने की चीज है हमारा दिल ताली हो ताली हो ताली हो बार बार देखो हजार बार देखो कि देखने की चीज है हमारा दिल ताली हो ताली हो